Hi everybody, Jessie here, and I'm back with Hi everybody, Jessie here from jessiebanks.com, and welcome back to another video. I have something super exciting. Those of you that have been following my channel or my blog or my Instagram and that for a while know that I love the Stoneground Paint Company. They're handmade paints, made fairly local to me. They're in Regina, so they're about a 2-hour drive away. I'm in the city all the time. If you followed my Instagram, I did share a sneak peek of some of these here when they first started making them in the store, before they had all the colors made, when the plan was just there, etc. I've had these for a while. They're just got a little bit of paint in each pan, but Stoneground has a new release. I haven't swatched them. I picked this up a few days ago from them. They let me get it early so I could share it with you guys here when it releases, and I haven't swatched them. I haven't touched them with water. I haven't nothing, and it's been tough. So this is the Neon collection. So none of these pigments are going to be light fast. They hold up fairly well, I mean, in sketchbooks and things, but I wouldn't place them in direct light for a long period of time. But we're going to start just by swatching them on their little swatches here, and then I'm going to pull out my sketchbook and we'll do a little play with showing you guys all the colors. So the first one here is called Krypton Yellow. Can you see that? I know it's not going to appear as neon on the screen as it is in person, but when you guys see the photos, like that, it looks like a lemony yellow on the screen, but it is like highlighter yellow. It's kind of amazing. The next color is called Noble Orange. So I'm just getting these so that I got a fair bit of pigment here. Again, highlighter orange. These are going to be so fun. I'm using them in flowers with using like a graphite gray just to add the shadows in after. I'm super pumped for all of these colors. This is Atomic Orange. Now this paper that I'm swatching on is not like watercolor paper, so it's not ideal. We'll see it a little bit more in the sketchbook and in the photos, because I know the computer, like the video, is not going to pick up how neon these colors are. It's just not going to do them justice, and that's the nature of neon pigments. But I'm still over the moon. So that's Hydrogen Red. Now we've got Helium Pink. I love the names. I know when I got those first four, she was considering naming them after like 80s rock bands. These are fun. There's the Neon Pink. That one kind of shows you a little bit better how fluorescent these colors actually are. Next up is UV Magenta. Oh, you guys, these make me so happy. I love bright colors. And then we have Argon Blue. And like I said, this is the first time this palette has been touched. I've had it sitting beside me, waiting to film. And I try not to film too far in advance, because then it's really hard for me not to share with you guys. These are releasing on the 28th of the month. I will have the links to the Stoneground store in the description box below. And check with your local art stores if they carry them. If they don't, I know they have retailers like in Canada and the US, and I think there might be some overseas. I'm not 100% positive. So I did it on both. So that's the inside of the box, and that's the lid of the colors. Super pumped. I'm just going to set this to the side. And I'm going to pull out, this is my, it'll come to me, my Moleskine watercolor book. So I'm just going to write out the names, and then I'll be back and we'll swatch them on some watercolor paper to see what they look like there. Okay, so I'm back. I did the little swatches in here, which kind of gives you an idea of the color. But now I'm going to do a fade out swatches, so they're going to be more pigmented on this side and fade out to a lighter wash, just so I can kind of see the range we're working with on each of these colors. Like I said, I had 4 that I was playing with, but I haven't played with these a whole lot. So I did re-wet all of our colors here. I'm going to go in and pick up a whole bunch of pigment. Load up my brush. This is a Princeton Neptune round number 8, so it is a synthetic brush. Load her up with a bunch of pigment, and we'll start here. under Krypton Yellow, pick up a little more water. And just kind of fade it out. When it comes to paper, I find that sketchbooks never have the best watercolor paper in them. I do really enjoy this Moleskine one, but it's not the same as painting on like my Arches or my Fabriano or any of my better quality watercolor papers, because this isn't 100% cotton and all that kind of fun stuff. So, but this will give us an idea as to, you know, how our colors, the range of color we can get out of the one. So I'm just fighting with it a little bit here. Like I said, I haven't played with these. There we go. I just needed more water on my brush. My fault, not the paint's fault. So that's our Noble Orange. Now we'll do Atomic Orange. I love this. This color's kind of amazing. Love that. Yep, that is awesome. And then we have Hydrogen Red. These colors are just great. I love fluorescent paints. The colors make me so happy. Like I said, I know that they're not light fast. Stoneground doesn't claim for them to be light fast pigments or anything of that nature. But they're so stinking fun to play with, especially in your sketchbooks, or if you do like handmade cards and you're a crafter like I am, on your cards. I like to use them in, you know, paintings that aren't going to see light, just kind of playing around, thumbnails, things like that. Helium Pink. Next up is UV Magenta. Which is amazing. And I am not like, I had a lot of water there, you can see the background forming. Same with on the helium here, you can see that background coming in. That's okay. They're just swatches to see our colors. Now we have Argon Blue. I do have a little bit of pink left on my brush, but that's okay. It's not causing too much or any sort of issue with the color. It's not changing it to purple or anything like that. That's going to create a background. I had a lot of water on my brush. Kevin's moving around. Next up is Photon Green. There, then we'll let these dry and I'll come back and we'll do, I'm just gonna, my paper warped, so I'm just gonna let that run back in a little bit. We'll come back and we'll draw something and see how it works with the way I was talking, like with the, with the graphite gray for shadows and things of that nature. So I'll be back as soon as these are dry. So here we're back and they're dry. You can see how some of it ran and stuff. That's fine. This is a sketchbook. I don't expect them to be perfect. But while this was drying, I decided to try it on some black paper. So now this is Stonehenge black watercolor paper. So this is a watercolor paper. I do believe that it's cotton. Just hang on. So it is Stonehenge cold press watercolor paper. It's 140 pounds, 100% cotton. So it's cotton rag, black watercolor paper. It's super cool. I had to pick some up to play with. I haven't really done much with it yet, but I decided to swatch these on the black, and you can see how they show up super awesome. They have a little bit of a sheen to them, which doesn't bother me, but I think they show up super perfect on the black paper. I did try to swatch them in the order here, but I wrote these two backwards, so the pink is actually down here, and this is the red up there. You can probably kind of see it in the tones. I will have pictures over on my blog and all of that stuff of all of these swatches before I put it together. I'm probably going to tape it in here just on watercolor paper or just with some washi tape so that it'll hinge in and out. But I wanted to show you guys that. And then here's all of our dry fluorescent sketches or samples. Like I said, lots of these don't look as neon as they do in person. Like this here looks very lemony, where it's very highlighter yellow in person. The rest of them are fairly close to reality, so that's awesome. So that's all of our samples. I'm going to turn the page and do a little bit of sketching, and then we'll come back and do some painting and some color mixing and kind of have a little bit of a play with these. Okay, so I'm back with a couple of corny sketches just to play with the colors on. I did a couple of, well, the helium pink and the argon blue just to play with the grays on to see which ones I like better. So I pulled out, these are all from Stoneground as well, I pulled out titanium gray. Are you going to focus? I pulled out graphite. And I pulled out gray ochre. So we're going to play with those just to practice some shading and see if the idea I have for how I want to do these is going to work and which one's going to work better. So I'm just going to put a little bit of water on those to start them activating themselves, because I know this gray ochre takes a little bit of moisture to get it going. The other ones aren't bad. They reactivate really, really fast, but that gray ochre takes a little bit. But I love the color, so it's worth it to me. So what I'm going to start with is I'm just going to take some solid colors and paint these guys in. I want a smaller brush. So I'm going to take the, well, that's simple. I want the hydrogen red here to paint in our little crab. So I'm just going to go through and paint all of these guys just with a flat wash of color, and then I'll come back once they're dry and we'll work on the shading so I can show you guys what I'm personally excited about for this style I want to use with these fluorescent colors in my cards, as well as my own artwork on the, that aren't cards. I know I'm primarily a card channel, but I do draw and stuff on my own as well. So I will be right back with that. Okay, so I'm back. Everything's dry. My orange bled into my green a little bit, but that's no big deal. This is like 2 days later. Let's not pretend that this is at the same time. Different clothes, different day, different. So I'm going to start off by practicing on these. So here's the gray ochre. So I'm just dabbing some of them in, and I'm just seeing how it does for creating a shadow on the neon. Because that's what I'm after. I'm after being able, those neons re-wet really easy, just so you know. I'm wanting to be able to add some shadows and like the way it turns out. Like over the pink, I don't mind the titanium gray. Over the blue, I don't love it. Right? I think it's too opaque of a color for what I'm looking for up here. I'm going to tilt the book a little bit so you guys don't get the reflection. And then this is graphite, which is what I've been leaning towards thinking I need to start with. And I do believe I'm right. And I really should just always go with my first instinct and not double or second guess myself, I should say. Because I really like the way that that layers over top. Now, definitely have to be careful for lifting, because even after drying for 3 days, those re-wet really, really easy. I'm going to take my heat gun to these, and then I'll be back and we'll take a closer look at them. Okay, so it's dry. Let's zoom in here. And you can see how... Is that dry? Yeah, it's dry. I don't like the titanium gray. It's too opaque. The The gray ochre is nice, but it doesn't get as dark as the graphite does, which is what I want to be able to do, is go from like black and slowly fade it out to create the shadows on top of the fluorescent colors. So I was right, we're going to go with the one that I thought I was going to need, and we're going to do some shading on these guys. Okay, so I got my little half pan of graphite over here, and then we've got our little icons that are nice and dry. And I'm just going to start by picking up a little bit and coming in and starting to add some shadows. Now this should be able to give me the neon look with the shadows I want, with one, not having to mix colors, and two, not having to use more than two colors, because that's always nice when you need less things to achieve what you're after. So you can see how I'm just going in with a tiny little bit of it at a time. I'm using, these are the Zen Royal and Langnickel. This is a round number 6 brush. It's just a cheapy brush. I think I paid a couple dollars for it at Desserts when I was up in Edmonton. I don't mind it. It's definitely like not comparable to my expensive brushes, but it puts paint on the page, and that's really, at the end of the day, all I have to have. So I'm making sure I don't have a ton of water on my brush, because these fluorescents do re-wet really, really well. I am going to try, while we're here, just putting a swatch of the dark and blending it out to a light, and then I'm going to lay neon over top and see if possibly that works better than this way, just because of how easy these neon colors re-wet, because I am getting some white splotching. So that's my second option there. We'll see when we get there. Let's go into our cactus. I'm going to actually run it down the whole side. Okay, so I'm finding when I have lots of pigment on the page, like on this green, it's actually kind of beading on top of it. Like, can you see that? That's really weird that it's repelling the color. You see how it's like, that's odd. I've never seen that before. Now that's probably something to do with the fluorescent pigments. But it's good to know that if you lay on a real heavy layer of color, you're going to run into that issue. See, and if I put more water on there, we don't have it. So I'm going to see what that does once it dries, because I have more water there than I did on the first part. So it also could be something on this paper, because this is just a Moleskine sketchbook and I've had my hands all over it and stuff, so it could be oils out of my hands as well. So I'm not 100%, like I said, I'm not 100% positive. You're seeing my first time working with any sort of shadows on these. And playing with these colors at all. I haven't done any projects with them before filming this. I didn't want to come into it with a preconceived idea of if I like them or not. And at the end of this, I'm still not going to know, to be honest, because I'm going to have to do some more drawing with them and do some cards with them and stuff in order to find out what I really think. But thus far, like I said, I really like the colors, and that's half the battle. If I like the colors, I can usually make it work for whatever I want to paint, right? It may not be like ideal, but I really love having fluorescent colors in my arsenal. If nothing else, then doodling like this or painting icons, and I think I'm really going to enjoy them in florals. Now normally I wouldn't put shading like this on a star, but like I said, we're here to play with the colors, so that's what we're doing. And then we will come back when this is all dry and have a look at what happened here. And then we'll put some neon over that. Okay, so I like it. I'm really, really happy with it. I love the texture I got on the orange. I think it's really pretty. That's one thing I enjoy about watercolors, is the uncertainty of what's going to happen with the color. So I'm going to take the UV magenta, just because that's the one I'm going to take. I don't know. And I'm going to wash it over top of the gray here and see the difference between that and just doing it the other way. Now we gotta let it dry again. Do. Okay, so I'm back and I have a bunch more stuff on my pages. What I did was, once this was dry, I really liked the way it looked, so I did like a little circle and a heart here and washed them over, and then I decided to draw another cactus, and I did that in the same style. I put the graphite gray down first and I put the neon over top, which dumbs down the color quite a bit, but I don't hate it either. It all depends on kind of which end you want to be. Do you want to be really, really neon, or do you kind of want to wash them out a little bit and have the hint of neon? You get both very easily. I tried to do a transparency thing here, but apparently the marker I used repelled the ink. Like I said, part of the whole repelling and the watercolor picking up so easy is because of the sketchbook I'm using. It is a Moleskine. So yeah, so those are all of my little tests. Again, here are all of our swatches, on the white paper as well as on the dark paper, which I'm still over the moon with. I had to do some painting on some dark paper, guys. So yeah, that is the new set of watercolors from Stoneground Paint Company. I will have the link to them in the description box below. I don't get any affiliate compensation for this. I have a really good relationship with them. I shop in their store all the time. They're fantastic people up in Regina, so if you're interested in these colors, I would definitely suggest hopping over and picking them up, or checking with your local art supply stores if they carry them. If not, tell them they should. Yeah, I really appreciate them, and I really appreciate all of you guys. So if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. Any comments or questions, leave them in the description box below. I will have some more videos coming with these. I'm going to film a flower card for all of my card maker viewers, and I will see you guys very soon in another video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.